Hello, welcome to the class.
My name is Partha Majumdar.
Without any further delay, let's get started.
So far, we have seen how to fetch tweets, and then we also saw how to tabulate the tweets using DT and see the tweets that we have fetched. Next, what we will do is we will create the time series of the tweets that we have fetched. Now, time series analysis has a lot of benefits and it can provide a lot of information. For example, if I fetch tweets for a particular location, I can figure out what is the frequency at which the people have been tweeting from that location. Based on this, I can predict what are the likely tweets going to come from a particular location. So there are a lot of regression models which can be created using time series analysis. Similarly, if I fetch tweets for a particular search string, I can figure out from which part of the world at what part of the day do tweets come in. This can be utilized in campaigns like if I have to set up a marketing campaign which is focused on individuals and focused on regions, I can figure out what part of the day I must focus my ads at which part of the world. So there is a lot of analysis which can be done using time series. So this is a very important and very powerful analysis. So let's see how to do this using the R programming that we have been using so far. Now let's go through the code we require for generating the time series charts for the fetch tweets. Later, we will see a demonstration of the same on RStudio. Now to understand what is time series, you could undertake the course which I have created called Making Numerical Predictions for Time Series Data. I have provided you the link to this particular course which you can see at the bottom of the screen. Before we proceed, let's take a short introduction to this particular course. Okay, for creating the time series charts, the libraries we require are as follows. We require the library ggplot2. ggplot2 is a very powerful library and it takes a lot of time to study and understand ggplot2 completely. So I would strongly suggest that you take a course or take an experimentation to understand ggplot2 very thoroughly. It's very powerful and it can produce a lot of important and useful artifacts. Another library that we will use is ggthemes. This basically comes along with ggplot2 and it can make your illustrations very attractive. The steps that we will undertake to generate the time series charts are as follows. We will first convert the date to POSIX CT format. Now this is a very important step. If we do not do this, we cannot generate the time series charts using R language. This next step is we will generate the time series charts. So let's see how this is done. So now we will go through the required code. To convert the date field to POSIX CT format, we require the following piece of code as I have illustrated here. Let's go through this code in more details. The first step is that we capture the locale as is there in the system right now. So because we will require this to reset the system back to the same locale at the end of our conversion. So we can use this command get locale to get the current locale of the system. Next, we will set locale as is indicated here. We will set the locale as is indicated here so that we can make the conversion. The third step is to use the function as.POSIXCT to convert the time into the POSIXCT format. Now the field which contains the time at which the tweet was made is in the field called created at. So we will take the data in the field created at and convert it to the POSIXCT format. Now for converting, we will use the time zone of the system. After we have made the conversion, we will set the locale back to the original locale which the user was in when we started this conversion process. This was done in the step 1 where we captured the locale of the current user. So with this piece of code, we can convert the date field to the POSIXCT format. Remember again, the date is stored in the field called created at, that is returned from the Twitter database. Now on the right hand side, you see the time series chart that we will create. To create this time series chart, we will require this following code. Now we require the function ts_plot to create the time series chart, and then we will use ggplot. Now ggplot works in layers, so you can add to this code many layers of ggplot2 functions to make this more attractive. I will show you a few of these layers in the demonstration when we do it in RStudio. So to tsplot, we pass the field created at that we converted in the last step, and then we will ask the tsplot to create the time series of the tsplot, and then we will beautify it using ggplot2 functions. So now let's head straight to RStudio to see this code in action. So here I have the complete code that we will discuss. As before, I have planted it in Prairie. So we will now go through it. So first thing you notice is that I have used the libraries ggplot2 and ggthemes. So let's invoke the libraries. That's done. Next we read the system parameters. That's also done. Then we will create the token. The token is got created. Then we will read the Google Maps API key from the parameters that we have read. That's done. Now I set the location to Paris first. So let's set the location to Paris. That's done. And now I fetch the tweets. So there it's downloading. And now it is done. Now from the tweets, I first convert it to the POSIXCT format for the created at field. So this is the code that we discussed. So I will run this. So that is now done. So next we will do the time series plot generation. So here is the code that generates the time series plot. So I will run this. So there the time series plot has been generated. So you can see this time series plot. So you can see that there is a lot of variability in the way the tweets are coming every minute. Now notice in this code that we have set that the time series plot should be created per minute. But we can change this. We can make it as hours. So let's see how the plot would look like if I generate this as per hour. So there you see the plot per hour. I can also change it to seconds. So there is the plot per second. So we will revert back to minutes. Now let's generate the time series plot for another location. Let's say the location is New York. I change the location to New York. Let me now generate the time series chart for this tweets that is fetched. So there is downloading, and this is the time series chart for the New York location. Okay, now let's do the same for, let's say, India. So this could not find enough variability in the data, because of which it could not generate the time series chart. Let's try one last location, that is London. So there is the time series chart for tweets fetched for the London location. So I hope you got the idea. Next we will see the same in action on Cydia. So here we are in Google Chrome. I will invoke Cydia by providing the URL. So now Cydia is and I say fetch some tweets, and I say fetch. So there it has fetched it. So this is the time series it generates for the tweets fetched from Paris at this point of time. So now let's do another exercise. Let's do here, let's search tweets for Mr. Modi. So here you see the time series that is generated for the tweets fetched for the search string Modi. I can do the same thing for one last example. So now the hot topic in the world is coronavirus. So let us search tweets for coronavirus. So this is the time series it generates for the tweets fetched for coronavirus.